Hello guys, I'm Hello Japan and welcome back to my second, I guess, annual E3 press conference response video. Now, I'll do what I did last year and I'll have clips and pictures and things going on in the background, and I decided to kick things off. I'm going to do them in order as they are aired on the internet and whatnot. So first up is Microsoft. Now, I'm going to do an individual video like I did last year for each individual press conference. But I'm also doing E3, or not E3, I'm also doing EA and Ubisoft this year on top of the big three. So let's just get started. I actually took notes this year. Got out of school early because I finished up my final exam, so I was able to get out of there because I don't have one tomorrow, so it means videos all day tomorrow. Need to make some more because I don't have any for you guys. But all that aside, back to my press conference thing. Now, Microsoft began the show with just began it with a demo of Modern Warfare 3. Now, I'm not the biggest Modern Warfare fan. I've played both of them, played 1 and 2. I have not played Black Ops. I hear it's okay. I hear that Modern Warfare 2 has a far superior multiplayer. I guess it's all really preference, though. But the demo begins with you underwater, driving this little propulsion thing, and you're scuba diving, and you're just riding around and whatnot. And right before the guy that's playing it actually takes control of the scuba device, the controller disconnected and said, "Please reconnect your controller," and went to the start screen, which I thought was pretty funny. I kind of laughed a little bit, laughed a little bit at it. But anyway, once you're going through this tunnel, and I'm sitting there. Sorry, my nose is a little stuffed. I'm sitting there trying to figure out what they're going through, because I see debris on the ground. I see debris underneath them. This kind of arched shape thing, and then there's cars in there and whatnot. And then I realize it's a underwater tunnel thing like they have. I'm trying to think of a big one. There's one near DC in the States, and I think there's also one in the English Channel, I believe, too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't live in Europe or England, but yeah, I know there's one near DC, Virginia area if you live in the States. Yeah, they're actually going through that. And then he dodges a few underwater mines that are set around that they tell you to look out for. Some of the basic underwater motifs, I guess you can call them. And then they stop, and your leader, because you're not playing as Soap when I saw this. I don't think you're playing as Soap or whoever else. I don't even know the characters that well. That's how much I keep up with Modern Warfare. But they tell you to stop, and everyone just kind of idles for a minute, and this giant sub just comes riding right over top of you. And then, as soon as it's far ahead of you enough, he gives you the order to go in and plant a mine, or an explosive, on the, rotor of... Is it rotor? Rudder, that's the word I'm looking for. The rudder of the sub itself. So, they have no... When I was watching, I thought it would explode, but what they did is they just released all of the weight that's keeping them underwater, and they filled it up with air and went up. So when they did that, they just went up to the surface. Everyone went up to the surface. You get on top of the sub, and out in the distance you see a cityscape, like a skyline. And the buildings, I don't know what it is. I'll probably be playing a video in the background of it. But you just see the city in the background, and it's just being attacked, and everything's exploding, and buildings are falling, and you're on top of this giant sub, and you go inside it, and you see him fight through a couple enemies. Then it continues on. It says in the with time in mind or something like that, and it just skips to a breaching part where if you are familiar with the first game, breach is you put the explosive on the door and you just come in, come around the corner of the door and just have like a slow-mo thing, and you can take out the people. That's in there. And then towards the end of the video, they have you driving a boat after you get off the sub. You're driving around and trying to escape from all the explosives and this big, like, there's battleships everywhere just destroyed. Planes are flying overhead, things are exploding, people are shooting at you, other kinds of boats are just blowing up, and then it just basically ends, is what happens. You know, like they do that cliffhanger ending or whatever, oh, buy the game. And then it just flashed the date of November 8th at you. And after that, it showed Microsoft had the Tomb Raider, the remake, or not the remake, the reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise. And the only thing I can say about this demo is that there is a lot of screaming. Lara Croft is screaming and squealing so much in this demo, it verges on annoying almost. Even my dad said that. Him and I used to play Tomb Raider a lot. I brought him in, and he said, "She's squealing a lot, isn't she?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of annoying." But anyway, you begin the demo, and you're hanging upside down in this cavern, like weird indigenous like cave. I'll have pictures and stuff, and you'll see what I mean. But it's just really weird looking. And then for the rest of the demo, you're running and screaming is what it really is. That's about it. And I see they're trying to go with the whole Uncharted look, which works, but don't have her scream so much. At least I hope that is like the one time when she just screams that much, because it just, like I said, it verges on annoying. And then anyway, after you run around for a while to eventually get out of the whole, like that whole cave area or whatever, because you're being chased by some guy, you get out of this cave, like I said, and you go out to this cliff, and the ocean is just out in front of you, and you can see you're on like an island or whatever, and there's boats everywhere. There's like World War II boats, modern looking boats that look like they were made in like the 17th century, 16th century. It's really weird. I didn't really understand what it meant. It's probably has something to do with it's just a localized shipwrecking area, I guess, is probably what it's going to end up being. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Tomb Raider. I mean, the game looked good, like I said, but this one seems to be leaning more towards the Uncharted feel to it, which, like I said, isn't a bad thing, because Uncharted is a very good game. You just have to execute it well. This game has to have good writing. The presentation looked very good. Not on par with Uncharted or anything, because that is one of the best looking games ever. Uncharted 2 specifically. But yeah, if there's a good story to it and it all looks good, I'll be very, very happy with it. And then some dude from EA Sports came out. I didn't write names down. I just wrote down little snippets of information. The next thing was a guy from EA Sports came out and said that they're going to have four games, 4 of their EA Sports games be Kinect compatible. I don't personally own a Kinect, but after seeing this E3, I might go get one. We'll get into that in a minute. 3 of the 4 games they announced that were going to be Kinect supported were Tiger Woods, FIFA, and Madden. And the 4th game they said they would announce later, but I'm assuming it will probably be NHL. I mean, there's not really many other sports unless they make a table tennis, ping pong game, but yeah, not likely. And then after that was probably the second coolest, third coolest thing I saw there, Mass Effect. I just got into Mass Effect. I got it on Steam like 2 days ago. Very fun game, and Mass Effect 3 looks very, very nice. It's up there with Uncharted in terms of visual quality and the graphics and how it's presented. It just looked really nice and crisp. They're making a very nice game over there at BioWare. But one thing they announced was that it was Kinect supported, and it doesn't mean you control your Shepard your Shepard with Kinect. What it means is it's voice recognition. So when you get to the dialogue selection, whether you pick the certain dialogue options or whatnot, you can just sit there and speak it without having to bother with your controller. You can be like, oh, if Shepard has to say, we'll do it, or go screw yourself or whatever, you can be like, oh, go do it, and choose that dialogue option instead of navigating it to with your controller and pushing A or whatever it is. I have it on PC, so I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, there you have that option. Or in combat, you can also send your I was gonna say, I guess team members. It's not really team members. It's your allies. I don't know what to call them. People in your little squadron. You can send them to go like, move forward, or stay back, or take cover, or whatever. You can give them orders or use some kind of a biotic attack. I think it's biotic. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But you can tell them to do certain moves and things, which I find very, very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, other than that, they just did a quick, short demo of Mass Effect. It was probably one of the shortest demos that they had there, which was disappointing. But still, like I said, very fun looking game. Still need to play Mass Effect 1 though. That's what I'm starting right now. 40 minutes in. Woohoo. And after that they had some Ghost Recon. Now, I've never actually played a Ghost Recon game, just because mainly when they were really popular, I was a little too young to play them. Not because of the content or anything, because they're not very explicit, I guess you can say. I did that with air quotes. Explicit. But it's more of like a strategical thinking game, which I'm not the biggest fan of like strategy shooters, besides like Portal. That's a strategy shooter game in its own right, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably pick this up maybe at Redbox or something when it comes out, because I started doing that recently, is just getting games. If I'm not sure about them, I go check them out at Redbox. If I like it, I'll buy it. But if I don't, then I don't, because I don't leave my decisions to like reviews or anything. I kind of make my own decision about a game. But anyway, back to Ghost Recon. It's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and one thing they showed is that it's Kinect compatible. The one thing, before I get into the thing that I thought made the show for me as a whole, just because I'm a geek and what I'm going to be talking about, is controlling the guy with the Kinect is very, very awkward, it seems. I mean, if you can sit there and hold up your right hand, I'll probably have a video of him controlling it, but if you hold up your right hand into a fist and make it about chest level, and take your left hand and like hold it to the side, like a little forward or whatever, or like in a fist also, but just pulled back a little bit more towards your chest and a little bit lower down, and then open and close your left hand to fire. That's how you fire in the game, and you move with your top right hand. It looks a little awkward to me. I'm sure they tried the standard, like hold it like a gun, but you can't really. How are you going to be able to control your guy or whatever? But that's the only gripe I have with that. The other thing that I said, like I was talking about, that made the show for me as a whole, was a thing that they showed called Gunsmith. And what this is that you can look at your weapon and completely disassemble it with your hands or whatever. You can put your hands together and then spread them apart quickly, and the gun just breaks up each individual piece that makes up the whole thing, which is awesome. So you can go to I guess he picked the gas system or your scope or whatever, and just interchange those things, or you can say randomize, and you just make a completely random gun from all the different options you have, or short range, and it makes the best optimized short range or long range or whatever have you. But they claim that it's probably gonna be something similar to what Borderlands is, where their guns can be very, very similar looking, almost exactly the same, but just have different stats because of a scope or something. And I feel like that's what this is going to be, because they claim that it's going to have 20 million weapons options, which very impressive, and like I said, but it's probably not what you're thinking. Like 20 million weapons, it's not like that. They may have the same exact gun except for like a barrel is a little different or something. But still, like I said, very cool. And they also announced that Ubisoft announced that all Tom Clancy games will be connected with support from here on out, at least until Xbox 360 is gone and Kinect does not exist anymore. My guess is that they'd make the Kinect for the new Xbox system. And that's one thing they didn't have, is they didn't announce a new Xbox, which was one thing everyone was expecting, or at least from different places I've seen. That's what people were expecting. Like I said, I mean, besides these few games, I'll get into a few other hardcore games, but there really weren't that many more hardcore games. For the most part, this press conference is very, very Kinect heavy, which I understand. They just released the new thing. It's doing good, but it's probably not doing as well as they thought it would. I mean, there aren't really too many great games out for it right now. I mean, Kinectimals. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying Kinectimals. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, they showed off the new Xbox Kinect dashboard. I don't know if that will translate into the standard controller dashboard. If it does, it'd be pretty cool. They're showing off new features with it, such as live TV, where you can actually stream TV from what have you, NBC, Fox, your ABC, TBS, your big main TV stations. You can stream from those live. They have a YouTube partnership, which they didn't really explain. I don't know if that means I can like record in game and make like an LP in game, which would be very, very, very cool, and upload that to my YouTube channel, or just clips and upload it to my YouTube channel, like with Halo Reach or something, or if it's just like strictly search, which would be okay too, but a little lackluster, I guess. And then the last big thing they showed about it was the Bing search engine. You know, Bing is Microsoft's attempt to kill Google, which doesn't really work. And I don't even think they've overcome Yahoo yet. I mean, just saying. But the Bing thing did look pretty cool. It had you'd say like Xbox Bing search Pokemon or something. I don't know. I don't think it probably prevent you from searching Pokemon, but it searches through all of the archived Microsoft stuff like Hulu, Netflix. Everything is going to be integrated into this Bing search, and I don't think it will search the internet. It will only search the things that are in the Xbox itself, which seems to be, to me, that's a very, very cool idea. And then another guy came out and talked about some UFC stuff, UFC on demand, but I'm not a UFC fan, so it didn't really affect me much. I mean, if you're a big UFC fan, it looked actually pretty interesting. You could make wagers, and there's online points or whatever. You can bet against your friends, not like points bet against your friends, but like be like, oh, this person will win by submission or unanimous decision or whatever. I don't exactly know how UFC is determined, but that was one thing that actually looked pretty interesting. If they could implement it in other ways, that'd be cool, but UFC is okay. Then after that, probably for me the third or second biggest game there was Gears 3. I already have it pre-ordered, played the beta. As you guys see on my channel, I kind of stopped on the videos because I didn't have enough time to record them anymore. Sorry. I think I got 5 or 6 days up out of the 3 weeks that were offered. 2 for me because I was late to the beta. But yeah. Anyway, the Gears 3 beta they showed took place on a boat. I guess Marcus and the guys went out and got on this boat and went out into the ocean, expected to be safe. But of course, you can't run from the locust and the lambent infection. So they got attacked by this giant like squid thing. It was really weird. It was infected with the lambent, whatever it's called. I don't remember if that's the name even, but that disease or whatever. And they got attacked by that thing. The infected locusts were jumping on. So Cliff and Ice-T played. Hang on, I'm taking a drink real quick. What's his name? Cliff and Ice-T. Ice-T, who is the actor and rapper, went on and did the game with him, with Cliff, and it was a little awkward at the end, but because he said he was making a song for him or something with an old group. I didn't really understand it. It was a little weird. I don't think Cliff understood it either, so he just kind of was like, "Oh, thanks, man," and he walked away. And that was about it for that. No Kinect support, thank God, because I don't think Gears would do well with Kinect support, just because it's not a Kinect-like game, I guess you could say. But that aside, and then they showed just not really, like, if things just kind of flow together. This kind of stood out on its own, which is a little weird to me. It was a game called Rise, which is like a Kinect-based, like, Roman soldier, the warrior fighting thing. Sorry, I have gas. Not, no, I'm chest. Nah, you know what I mean. Anyway, the game just kind of stood out and was like a little weird to me personally. I mean, if you thought it looked okay, cool. I mean, it looks interesting, but it just doesn't appeal to me. It's just one of the games that were there that I just didn't really care for. But another game that I'm very excited for, I have the original, is Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, which is the 10-year, I believe it's 10-year, yeah, the 10-year anniversary edition of Halo 1. And I can bet you when the 10-year anniversary of Halo 2 comes around, they'll do the same exact thing. But this game is actually coming out on November 15th, 2011, which I will guarantee you I am going to pick up. And then they had a racing segment in there, but I'm not a big racing fan, so if I kind of skipped over that, I'm sorry if you are a racing fan, but yeah, I didn't really even watch it, to tell you the truth. I got up and made myself some lunch because I was hungry. And then when I came back, Peter Molyneux was talking about, Peter Molyneux from Lionhead Studios, the Fable guys. They were talking about a new Fable game called Fable: The Journey. It's a Kinect supported game where you first person, you can cast spells, and I don't think they showed any sword attacks, but they had this like magic lightning bolt spear thing, which looked pretty cool. In the beginning, you were controlling a horse, like a horse-drawn carriage thing, which seemed interesting. Killing all the hobs and stuff. I mean, it didn't show too much because I'm sure it's still in early stages of development, so you're not going to be able to see too much from it, but still look interesting nonetheless. Next they had Minecraft for the Xbox. Now, if there's anyone that has a computer, I'm sure that they've heard of Minecraft. Maybe, I'm still surprised that I hear about people that haven't heard of it. Personally, I'm surprised. But anyway, yeah, Minecraft is coming to Xbox. It's going to be Kinect compatible. I hope it's not only Kinect, because that would suck. I'd have no idea how to play it. You'd have to sit there with your hand and like mine stuff your own, or on your own. That'd be just dumb. Wrong move, I think, for Notch to make with that kind of decision. Good idea to put it on the system. I don't think using strictly Kinect would be a advisable idea. Use the controller. I'm all for using controller, but keep the Kinect stuff to a minimum, buddy. just my opinion. But the one Kinect game that is actually a very, very childish game is actually the Sesame Street game that Double Fine is making. Now, the only reason I bring it up is because I think Double Fine is a cool company, and Tim Schafer is a really cool, interesting, unique. Yeah, you use unique, underline in bold. Unique character, and the game looked decent enough. I mean, I'm not going to get it or anything because I don't watch Sesame Street, and I'm not 8, not even 8, like 5 or however old kids are when they watch Sesame Street. When I was a kid, I didn't really watch Sesame Street, but it still looked interesting. I'll give them that. Double Fine is doing some different stuff. They did that. What was that game? Stacking. I think it's called Stacking on the Xbox, an Xbox exclusive, where you're like those dolls, those Russian dolls. I don't remember what they're called. The smaller ones getting the bigger ones bigger, and just continually grow in size. Yeah, they're doing interesting stuff like that, and I've always given them praise for doing out of the norm things for the video game industry, like what was that one he did in way back when? Fandango, Death Fandango, something along those lines. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. Grim Fandango. That's what it's, Fandango. He did that game. I never played it, but it looked very interesting. Again, I like looking at those interesting games. That's why I like No More Heroes. Anything by Suda is very interesting. Like I said, Psychonauts, one of my favorite games of all time. Psychonauts, Brutal Legend, very fun. A little not so hot on the RTS aspects of it, but still fun game nonetheless. So yeah, Double Fine, Tim Schafer, good combination. And then they showed a Dance Central game, and I don't really care about Dance Central. I wish they'd make more Rock Band stuff. But I sound like a hypocrite when I say that, though, because I don't even have Rock Band 3 yet. Need to get it. I have the first two. Yeah. And the one thing that I'm so glad they did, and I knew they would do, since Bungie is not the developer of Halo anymore, they've given the rights to, I believe the studio was 343 Studios. That's what it said in the little bottom corner. But since Bungie does not develop Halo games anymore, they announced a new trilogy, and that new trilogy is Halo 4. Halo 4 to 6 is the new trilogy, and it looks... The little teaser video, I'll play it right. I'm going to be playing it, don't worry. Little teaser video was so good, I'm ready for that game now. But then when the date popped up and when it was being published, I wanted to kill someone. Holiday 2012. Now, that is very, very frustrating to me because I will be in college and I will not have time. Well, I might have time. I'll try and make time. I'll make time for all this stuff, but it'll be hard for me. It'll be my freshman year of college, which is going to suck. But anyway, then I got thinking about that. Don't want the video to go on for too long, but that got me thinking, if the dev cycle is 2 years, that means Halo 5 will come out in 2014, assuming it's 2 years, and Halo 6 will come out in 2016, and I'll be out of I'll be out of college by then, and I'm assuming Holiday 2012, it's not going to be on the 360. That's just my assumption. It won't be on the 360. It'll be on the Xbox 720, let's call it. Xbox 3. I don't really know what people are calling it, so I'll just call it the Xbox 720. Which, if it looked as good as it did in this little CGI snippet trailer, I wouldn't be surprised if it looked light years better than it did there in the new system. So that's that, guys. That is how the whole press conference went on, in order and everything. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll have links for my other videos at the very end of this for the other press conference responses. Next up, I believe, is EA, then it's Ubisoft, and then to end off the night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time is Sony. So I've been Hello Japan. I've reviewed this E3 Microsoft press conference. Hope you guys have liked it. I'll see you next time for EA. See ya.